Welcome to the Wasteland, a sun-scorched, hellish dystopia where survival is more of an afterthought, and everything from food to water is worth its weight in blood. Among the scattered ruins and burning sands, there's a place so desolate, it makes the rest of the wasteland look like a luxury resort, the green place, or what's left of it. Here, in a makeshift town built on the last remaining drops of hope, Furiosa is about to face a terrifying figure that will haunt her, and the few remaining souls that still cling to life. Furiosa, tough as nails and sporting that iconic mechanical arm, isn't your average survivor. She's young, early 20s, with a shaved head and piercing blue eyes that seem to reflect the broken world around her. She doesn't have time for teenage drama, but her past haunts her like a bad dream she can't shake. She's been through hell, literally and metaphorically, and the road ahead isn't much better. But today, she's not the only one trying to survive. Cue the teens. Oh yeah, there's always a group of reckless, hormonal, and totally unprepared teens. In this tale, it's a ragtag group of survivors. A mixed bunch, probably late teens, dressed in whatever scraps of leather and cloth they've scavenged. Think Goonies meets Mad Max, but with fewer jokes and more weapons. There's Axel, the leader with shaggy brown hair and a grim smile. Jenna, the sharp-tongued no-nonsense one who can hotwire anything with wheels. And Des, the reckless wannabe hero with a head full of wild ideas and zero common sense. This tiny patch of land, once a beacon of hope, is now a crumbling shell of what it used to be. The trees, long dead. The water, myth. And the people, slowly losing their minds, haunted by whispers of a figure that lurks just out of sight. A figure that's about to turn this already hellish life into an action-packed nightmare. At first, the teens think it's just another legend, right? Some spooky story to keep them in line, maybe get them to focus on more important things like staying alive. But then the dreams start. One by one, they wake up in cold sweats, swearing they saw something in the shadows. Something with glowing eyes, a twisted smile, and a hunger that can't be satisfied. But here's the thing. In the wasteland, nightmares don't stay confined to your sleep. They crawl out, seeping into reality. And now, this group of survivors, led by Furiosa, is about to find that out the hard way. The first sign of trouble. Axel, the self-appointed leader, disappears. One minute he's bragging about his latest haul of scrap metal. The next, his tent's empty, and his belongings scattered across the dirt like he just vanished. Jenna and Des shrug it off at first. Axel's always doing something stupid, probably out chasing glory again. But then the second one goes missing. And the third. What's worse, Furiosa, who's always had an unshakable, tough-as-steel demeanor, starts showing cracks. She's plagued by something deep in her past. Something dark that's beginning to resurface now that the group is being hunted. And in this landscape, there's nowhere to hide. Now, this isn't your average monster-in-the-dark flick. No. What makes this story interesting is the figure itself. It's not just a mindless killer chasing down teens in a desolate world. No, this thing is more like a manifestation of the wasteland itself. A spirit of the apocalypse, born out of the greed, violence, and betrayal that destroyed civilization in the first place. Its form shifts, always just on the edge of sight. One moment, a towering skeletal figure made of bones and rust. The next, a shimmering illusion that looks all too human. It's drawn to fear, feeding off the despair of its victims, and it gets stronger with every kill. The first attack is brutal and sudden. Axel reappears, but he's not the same. His eyes are wide, his body covered in grime, and there's something unnatural in the way he moves, like his bones have been snapped and rearranged. He stumbles into camp just as the sun sets, mumbling something about the figure before collapsing. His chest has strange, jagged marks, and the group realizes this is no ordinary wasteland predator. Axel dies before anyone can ask more. And then the night truly begins. With each scream that echoes through the dark, the figure gets closer. The camera pans through narrow alleyways and destroyed buildings as Des, Jenna, and Furiosa scramble for safety. Furiosa's mechanical arm gleams in the moonlight as she preps her war rig, a colossal vehicle with spikes, flamethrowers, and all the raw power you'd expect from the Mad Max universe. Jenna tries to hotwire an old motorcycle, but the figure appears just behind her in a flicker of motion, its face contorted in an unnatural grin. Didn't your parents tell you not to wander alone in the dark? The figure's voice rasps. It's cold, mechanical, and all wrong. Furiosa barrels into the scene just in time, smashing into the figure with her rig. But it only buys them moments. The figure reforms, stronger, angrier, and this time it's not messing around. Cue the action thriller chaos. From here, it's a full-blown war for survival. The teens, under Furiosa's guidance, fight back with everything they've got. Traps, weapons, and good old-fashioned determination. But this figure, smart. It anticipates their every move, bending reality and turning their environment against them. One by one, the group dwindles. Des, the cocky wannabe hero, meets his end when he tries to outsmart the figure, luring it into a trap. But the figure flips the script, trapping him instead. Jenna, ever the fighter, goes down swinging, but even her tech-savvy skills can't save her when the figure drags her into the shadows. Now it's just Furiosa, and here's where things get wild. As the final girl of this Mad Max nightmare, Furiosa digs deep into her past. Turns out, she has a personal connection to this creature, something that dates back to her early days of survival in the wasteland. The figure isn't just some random specter. It's the embodiment of all the horrors she's witnessed, every person she's lost, every betrayal she's suffered. And now it's come to collect. The final showdown. Picture a deserted wasteland, a massive dust storm swirling in the background, and Furiosa facing off against the figure with nothing but her war rig, a sharpened piece of metal, and pure fury. The battle is intense, gritty, and chaotic. Furiosa narrowly escapes death time and time again, using her mechanical arm to block blows, parry strikes, and deliver punishing hits. The figure shifts and twists, adapting to every move, but in the end, it's Furiosa's humanity, her raw determination that gives her the edge. With one final strike, she drives her blade into the figure's core, and with a scream that shakes the very earth, it disintegrates into dust, carried away by the wind. The dust settles, and Furiosa stands alone. The town is silent, but the threat is gone for now. She walks into the horizon, bloodied but unbroken, ready for whatever the wasteland throws at her next. So, in this twisted nightmare of a Mad Max saga, the lesson is simple. Never underestimate a survivor like Furiosa. In a world where even your worst nightmares take form, she's the one you want by your side. And in the wasteland, sleep is a luxury no one can afford.